Good evening, Clarence Williams. This is another edition of Now and Then. I want to talk to you about balancing the budget. Balancing the budget. The word balancing simply means that both are equal. You don't have more revenue coming in, and you don't have enough debt going out. That's equal. That's balancing. Now, naturally, in a given situation, you would prefer more coming in than going out. That's saving. That's where you get the little money putting in the bank so that you can kind of offset those rough days ahead when they come. But we're just talking about balancing now, and let me start at the lowest level in a family. When a family, man and a woman, comes together, uh, both of them bring their income into the family, which should strengthen the family. But sometimes, even with the two working, it becomes an issue where there is more money going out than coming in, and you have more debt then you have revenue coming in order to offset or pay for that particular debt. That can create problems. That always create problems in the home, and it has been proven through statistics that there are two main reasons for divorce. One is communication. You just have a lack of talking, being able to sit down and having quality time one with another. And the other one is money. It's with money. It's with debt. You have more bills coming into the home, and then now you cannot come together, sit around the table, and discuss what you're going to do with the money. You can't sit around and agree to go and put yourselves on a budget. You cannot agree now not to spend this amount of money because you have to use this to pay down your bills. You can't agree to that. And most times, parents, whether it's the wife or whether it's the husband, and then especially if you have children, that you still have to consider in your budgeting arrangement. And sometimes children don't understand that you can't do what we used to do. We can't go on the vacations where that we used to go on. We can't go to restaurants now. We have to now go to grocery stores and buy the food, and we can't even go down the same aisles that we once went down because we just cannot afford that particular type of meat. We can't afford that particular type of meal, so we have to cut back. That is budgeting. That's budgeting. That's coming down now and saying, listen, we have more going out than we have coming in. And when you can't agree to that, uh, whether it's the man or the woman, they cannot agree, cannot not willing to work together. It ends up in divorce. It ends up in divorce, and then now uh, you have to divvy up the money going this way, going that way, and so it creates a problem. That's why I'm talking about budgeting, balancing the budget. Now that's just a common family oriented, uh, but it works regardless of what system is in. It works regardless of what community is in, what town it's in, what state it is in, or what country it is in. Everyone that has money coming in and money going out has to have a system of balancing the budget. And when you don't have a system, a workable system of balancing the budget, you're going to have problems. You're going to have problems. Now, when you get into states towns, governments, federal governments. You're not talking about mom and pop situation. You're not talking about the home situation. You're talking about elected officials. You're talking about people that are running on different issues, and most of the issues that people run on is balancing the budget. Why do they run on that balancing the budget issue? Because they know that balancing that budget is paramount to them getting elected. But now it's not the balancing of the budget that is so questionable on each campaign. It is how they are recommending, how they are talking about balancing the budget. And most people don't listen to that. All they know is that I'm a Democrat and I'm voting for Democrats. I'm Republican, I'm voting for Republican. That's all they know. And all of this other stuff about balancing the budget or how they're going to balance a budget does not oversee or supersede the premise that I am a Republican and I am a Democrat. And as a result of that, uh, from one president to the other, from one administration to the other, one governor to the other, it is always up and down. You can have one governor or one president that will come in and raise the debt because of spending or because of his administration, because of their decisions that they made, the platform which they ran on, or what they want to do, create a legacy for themselves. The budget usually will go up, the debt will go. And always income or revenue is kind of stagnant. Revenue is set. Now you can tweak revenue by doing certain things, but you can always kind of guarantee the revenue coming in. You can always guarantee the debt that's going to be accumulated. But pretty much people know the revenue that's coming in. But what happens is that you have ambitious politicians that want to create a legacy for themselves and then say things and do things that they know will throw that budget out of kilter. Remember, balancing is equal, but when you throw it out of kilter, then you have more debt than you have revenue coming in. It's no longer equal. Well, it has not been equal for a long time in the United States. It has always been more debt than revenue. And how then does the United States deal with its debt? What it does is sell bonds. It sells 10, it sells 30-year bonds. And then those countries that buys those bonds give the United States money to continue to operate. And as a result of that, the interest rate on those bonds keep accumulating more debt for the United States of America. And so it's a cycle. It keep going round and round and round. Now 36 trillion in debt. We are 36 trillion in debt. A few days ago, on one of the my podcasts, I told you that we were 30 trillion. Now we are 36 trillion. How do we get that? We haven't even gone through a year yet. We haven't even gone through a year. And with Doge and all of the cutting that the president is doing in his administration, you should be able to say, well, the debt is coming down. Well, it's not like that so much because when you cut all of those employees, you also cut the amount of money that they are making, which is the taxes that they are paying on the money that they are paying. And then you are adding tariffs, which should be raising revenue, but people are now less spending. And so all of these dynamics is kicking in, and the debt is still going, and the revenue is less. Now, I just heard a few minutes ago that per year, the debt is 7 trillion per year. That's where we are right now. And per year, the income, the revenue is 5 trillion. We are already realizing a $2 trillion debt that is being added to our debt ceiling. Our GDP, 36 trillion. And we only are taking in now 5 trillion a year. So 7 trillion minus 5 trillion is $2 trillion. That's a lot of money. And then the interest on the 36 trillion is over now 1 trillion. That's just interest. That's just paying for the money that we keep borrowing. And then now we have a big, beautiful bill that is working its way through Congress. And whether it's going to be passed or not, or whether it's going to be sent back for more negotiation, we don't know how that's going on. And then we also have a wall, 2 walls, 3 walls that is going, and we're trying to fund this and fund that. And it's just so much is happening that is constantly adding to our debt. And the big, beautiful bill is already projected that it's going to add 2.4, 2.5 trillion. And then the Senate has just negotiated its part of the big, beautiful bill, and it is said to be more expensive than the House bill. So we're just out of control right now. We're out of control. In Rome, going back in history now, going back to then now, in Rome, there was a great need for revenue coming in. Rome was pretty much broke. Rome had gone and spread itself so wide over territorial reign and conquering all of these different countries that it was pretty much broke. And it was falling apart from within until Julius Caesar and Cleopatra got together. And as a result of that, Rome ended up conquering Egypt, and all of that wealth that Cleopatra had in Egypt, they got all of that wealth. And as a result of that, that helped their economy. But we don't have a Julius Caesar and Cleopatra. We don't have a country that we can invade now and get all of our riches and try to add to our bottom line. Well, can I say that differently? Because we have Ukraine. Hey, and then we have tariffs. Now, Ukraine has minerals that we can bring over that can kind of help us a little bit, but also the tariffs that the president said that these foreign countries was going to pay. We find out now we are actually paying the taxes. And so more revenue is coming in from tariffs, but it is a tax on the citizens of the United States of America. And even that is not going to help us. What's the bottom line? Just like the family, when you have more debt and less revenue coming in, someone is going to get a divorce. And that's what's happening right now. The United States, we are going through a divorce. And I'm not suggesting that it's all Republicans. It can be Democrats. Because when one administration leaves, another administration comes in. And that administration has to then, first of all, try to clean up all of the stuff that the prior administration had did. And so in order to clean it up, the first thing that administration is going to have to do is start spending money trying to clean it up. That's what Biden had to do because Trump did not deal with the pandemic the way he should have. And so Biden had to come in and spend money to try to clean it up. Got pretty much the United States on the right track where things was beginning to happen. People were excited. People were spending money. They were still crying about the cost of eggs, but just look at what they're crying about now. I think they would rather go back to crying about the cost of eggs than what they are dealing with right now. But that being said, Biden got it all done, delivered over to the next administration a healthy economy. And within, I'll say now, less than 200 days, this administration has pretty much sank the whole economy. Now, the next administration coming in, they're going to have to come in and undo all of this. How can they do it? Three things, and then I'm through. Number one, they're going to have to lower taxes. That's the federal tax. That's go back to and say, Powell, you're going to have to lower the taxes. Well, Powell can't lower the taxes because Powell is dealing with inflation. And if he lower the taxes, then people are going to start spending more, and then you're going to have high inflation again. And then if you don't lower the tax, you're going to have recession. So Powell is just waiting to see how this thing is going to work out as far as the tariffs are concerned, as far as the big, beautiful bill are concerned, before they step in with lowering or raising or what have you. So you can't really deal with that. The next one is just stop spending. Cut the budget. Well, you only have few areas where you can cut the budget that everybody would maybe agree. And what they are agreeing to, the Republicans, is cut Medicare, cut Social Security, cut Medicaid. That's what they want to cut. But what that's going to do is throw a whole lot of people out of health care. And once you do that, then that's going to raise the debt of the states, because the states get the money from the federal government to help them with Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security. So can you do that? Well, you can. Or you can just say to the rest of those line items that you don't want to cut, like the defense spending. Instead of increasing it, cut it. Just have a 10% across the board cut and tell everybody in the United States, listen, we're going to have to tighten our belt. That's the only way to get out of it. Now, in the home, when you did that, remember, it caused a divorce. No elected official will be elected or re-elected saying we're going to just cut everything 10%. They won't get elected because people want what they want, and they will not tighten their budget, tighten their belt for nothing. Even though they see that's what we need, they don't want it to affect them in what they are doing. And so no elected official. Remember what Kamala Harris said? We're going to help the colleges. We're going to help the seniors. We're going to help you with home buying. We're going to help you with child care. That's not cutting. That's spending. And then what did President Trump say? He says we're going to cut, we're going to lower the prices, but we're going to raise tariffs. The only thing he didn't tell you was that you're going to be paying the tariffs. He told you that the foreign countries are going to be paying the tariffs. In the home, you can do it. In the country, you can do it. But someone is going to have to step up to the plate and say, this is what we are going to do. Now, once you get in, you can't say it trying to get in there. You're going to have to say it once you get in there. The same thing that I'm telling you right now from the home of the United States is the same thing going on in the whole world. That's why the whole world is bowing down, subordinating themselves to the United States, because it's all about the money. And as long as it become a money issue, people are going to be responsible for getting the money, not saving the money. This is Clarence Williams. Have yourself a great day. If you like this, please comment, share it with your neighbors or what have you, and then just subscribe. That would help me so much. Have yourself a great day. Bye bye.